Today we are at N5, the Innovation Center of Media City and Internet City in Dubai City. And we have as our guest Osman Sultan, the CEO of Do. Hello Sultan, how are you?
Hello Jenny, how are you doing?
Very good. I want to start with the start. Where did Sultan grow up?
I was born in Beirut. I grew up there and studied there. At the age of 18, this was in the middle of the unfortunate so-called civil war that happened. I moved to Paris, France, and continued my studies. I did an engineering degree, and I very often say I'm an engineer by accident because I have the degree but never worked as an engineer. Then I joined the France Telecom group. Here again, not in so much in a traditional format, because I did not join the telecommunication activity of one of the largest telecom groups in the world. I was in the activity of the online business, which became later on an internet. This was the precursor of the internet space. That was, the internet was not there. With the start of the internet, the information highway concept by Mr. Gore in the US, I've been asked to go to the US and be president of a small subsidiary of the group in 1994. I knew that I will have a better sounding board if I work somewhere in the Arab world. In 1997, I said to myself, listen, I think if I have a track in the Arab world, there is so much more I could express. The internet was too early for the Arab world, but the mobility, the mobile. So I moved within the France Telecom group to the mobile part.
And that was a choice at that point. You knew
that
exactly.
That was a clear choice. I was actually, they approached me, they said we were looking for someone to manage, we will gain a license in one country. The country didn't happen. I was approached and they told me we're looking for, we're going to have win a license in Morocco, for a mobile license in Morocco, and we're looking for our CEO. So I said, that's something I'm interested in. It didn't happen. I joined the mobile division. The license in Morocco didn't happen, but Egypt happened. Tell you something that I'm very proud of. 16 people who were reporting to me became CEOs of companies in this part of the world. When I was in the US, when I was called to lead an operation in the US, small online operation, I had to merge. It was a merge and acquisition but then merging. And I had the terrible responsibility of deciding that from 75 or 80 people, we're going to keep 35. And some of these, because we're taking part of the activity only. And I don't know if it's a success or failure, because what I know is that this really marked me as when you have this, and I was young at the time, and I had people much older than me, and I had somehow to decide to take the terrible decision, because I say, and in the US you can say to this guy, although they were given the right severance package, etc. So I was impacted by this. That was an experience that I always kept in my mind. I tried to share as much as possible, so I'm not the only, but at the end the decision was in my hands. We did it because we had to do it. And in 5 days, probably the toughest week I lived, I had to, and then you know that these are people, some of them were working there for
and
10,
some
12
depend
years.
on their paycheck to survive.
Yes. So you leave them in a work environment that was what it was. This was in 1995 at the time. No, 1993 when we did this. Years after, there are some organization changes, transformation. This was in Egypt. And I hesitated a little bit. And then later on, I regretted that I should have been faster in moving certain things. Because this is what I call the responsibility. Years after here in this region, I triggered an initiative to bring all the telco operators to federate something in order to have a presence in the area of what we call the over-the-top and the internet. An area where dominated today by these global players, the Google, the Apple, the Amazon, etc. And I felt that as telcos, this was 6-7 years ago, we could have an interest in doing things. That is a good idea. That is still a good idea. That is an idea that will still happen. I am in a generation that have been raised in the saying, Rida Allah wa Rida al-Walidain. The blessing of the parents and the blessing of God. That's not secret. That's an announced my ambition.